It's the middle of tax season and you're probably feeling overwhelmed. You're reviewing tax returns, you're chasing down signatures, you're getting late forms, and you're wondering, did I send out those engagement letters? Or better yet, I need to reschedule some of my Zoom meetings. And you're probably thinking to yourself, I need help. My name is David, and I built a very successful tax preparation business. I filed over 50,000 tax returns in the first 12 years of business. All my colleagues were asking, how do you do it? What are you doing, David? I want to do it just like you, thinking I was so successful, but inside my business, I was drowning with paperwork, people, and problems. You see, I realized back then that I needed help, and the first person I thought about was a tax professional. And guess what? I would hire more professionals, and guess what the result was? More work for David. Until I realized one day that maybe I didn't need more tax people, maybe I needed somebody to help me. And that's when the idea came to me that I should hire an assistant. Over the last 18 years, I've had probably more than a dozen assistants, and I've learned a lot. And I want to show you some of the do's and don'ts in this process, because the problem is if you hire the wrong person, you buy yourself more work. If you hire the right person, it could change and transform your business forever. So let's dive right in. All right, so here's the reality. Most of you are tacticians. You like to do the work, and most of the time it's because nobody can do it just as good as you, right? See, I'm the same way. When somebody's struggling, I'm like, just move out of the way. I will take that on. Why? Because I want to be a superhero, and more importantly, I am faster and better than most people on my team. Now, that is probably the worst thing you can do, because that just shows your team that, well, they don't need to do the work. And one of the most problematic parts about this is that you're taking away the opportunity for them to learn, and you're stepping away from the real role that you have, which is managing your firm. So who manages the firm when you're not around? Probably you, but you're not around. So guess what? People are inefficient, processes get broken, and more importantly, the expectations from those customers gets, well, destroyed. So an executive assistant is somebody who has skills like project management, critical thinking, financial background, or at least finances and accounting. They can create spreadsheets. They understand the nuance that you're going to encounter every single day. A assistant, or even virtual assistant, is somebody who can check emails but doesn't know how to respond, who can book calendar appointments but doesn't have context. It is somebody who just gets the job done but doesn't do more because they don't know what to do. An executive assistant would actually plan your meetings, maybe even attend meetings on your behalf. Now, you're probably wondering, David, that sounds like a superhuman. That sounds like an office manager. Well, they kind of are. You see, my executive assistant sits in our operations team and my executive assistant role, and what she does is she channels the information that I convey to her to the team. She is a conduit of information, and she is the barrier, the gatekeeper between me and everyone else in my life. And the reason that is because that is her role, that is her responsibility, and that is what I need in my life so that I can do the things that are good for this business, which is run the business efficiently. And if you've got somebody on your team right now that you call an assistant and they're not doing any of those things, I would tell you that you probably have the wrong person. In fact, you're probably doing work for them. If you understand the differences between the two, let's really put it into numbers. Right now, you're probably spending at least 10 to 20 hours of your week doing administrative tasks that your executive assistant could produce. And if you're doing these things, here's what I want you to know. Here's the math. You see, your time is probably valued right now at $500 an hour. Now, you may not believe me, because sometimes people undervalue themselves. You are worth $500 an hour, and if you spend 10 or 20 hours a week, you are literally giving away $5,000 to $10,000 of revenue that you could have generated for this company because you decided to do these administrative tasks. Just put it in context. $10,000 a week, $40,000 a month, $480,000 a year of lost productivity because you wanted to be a very good assistant to yourself. How horrible! You want to lose almost $500,000 in productivity because you don't want to delegate, because you have the wrong person in your corner. You see, I had this discussion in my community just recently. In our Tax Maverick community, we get together at least once a month and we have this talk, and I say, okay, talk to me about some of your challenges. And a lot of them tell me, David, I have a real capacity issue. I have too much work and not enough people. To me, it's not even a capacity issue. We came to the conclusion it's a capability issue. It's not that they had too much work, they just had incapable people who could not help them, people who could not take things off their plate. Because let's be honest, is it easy to train somebody to do taxes? Not really. I mean, you can, but it takes a long time. Is it easy to train somebody to go in and check all your email, respond to those emails, schedule your appointments, send out documents for signature, create invoices. Is that easier? Does that seem like a more realistic task that can be taught generally? I hope you agree it is, because it's very simple to do. Taxes, you have to have a lot of context. So it's not capacity, it's capability. You know, what's crazy is that at that meeting, I took a bunch of notes and I created a really cool sheet called a launch pad. And I took a lot of notes. And in fact, I'm going to put that link down here below. You can get it for free, so you can check it out. But it's all the notes from that meeting, so you can see capacity versus capability, okay? The best place to find people, websites like onlinejobs.ph in the Philippines, or you can go on Indeed. They also have a very good selection of candidates on both of those platforms. It's not just about where you look, it's about what you position this role to be. When we hire for any position in our company, we have over 60 employees, and I've interviewed probably over 1,000, 2,000 people in my career. And every time I get on those calls, I get a little bit better. But what I get more clear on when I get on these calls, who I'm looking for and what problem I want them to solve. In fact, that is my motto. I hire people not to fill a position. I hire them to solve a problem. For an executive assistant, you would say, I'm looking for somebody to manage my ecosystem, somebody to manage my day-to-day activities, somebody to take things off my plate. And truly, your job is to make my life easier. And when I say easier, I mean you're going to do my work. In fact, when we're in meetings, here's the catch. When we're in meetings and I say, I'm going to do something, that means keyword, you're going to do it. And that is the role of an executive assistant. You take on the role of an executive assistant when you can do the work that I'm supposed to do. And then when they say, I'm excited, I'm ready, and then you say, well, what excites you about this? And then they say, well, it's because I want to work with somebody like you. Why do you want to work with me? And you see how this could go. I could do a whole video on hiring questions. But the truth is, when you are looking for somebody, be specific. Define what winning looks like so that they can win for you, so that you can do what you do best, which is grow the business, and you can scale. You don't need a tax advisor. You don't need a tax professional. You don't need more accountants. You need somebody to give you your time back. As promised, if you go down below, the tax firm EA lead pad, you can grab that right now. It's going to give you a framework to follow when hiring, when identifying the right person, and more importantly, how you can leverage and buy your time back. So go get it. Go down below. See you soon.